Welcome, everyone, to another installment of Nothing But Net Philippines. My name is Aaron Atayde. For those that are watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. For those that are watching online on espn.ph or otherwise, please make sure to head on over to Instagram and follow us at espn.ph and at ESPN Asia. We have a fantastic show lined up for each and every one of you all. We will be discussing the first round action in the NBA playoffs, plus touching on the future of Kevin Quiambao potentially in the NBA Summer League. But of course, it wouldn't be the same without Youngmisuk. So let's get this party going. Joining us on the show, and we want to start it out with some appreciation for putting in a flu game level performance that is about to be handed out to us. We know it's tough in the postseason. Youngmisuk joining us despite everything. Thanks for joining us on the show, buddy.
Thanks, man. A little under the weather, but hopefully I can get it through. I think I'm starting to feel better.
I, as a fan, try to plan out my life around the NBA playoffs. You have to live it on a different level. You are going from town to town, hopping in and out of airports and airplanes, connecting flights. What does your schedule look like for the next 7 days?
So they're off today, the Warriors. They'll practice tomorrow. And then we've got a game Wednesday. I will fly back. They'll be off Thursday, so I'll fly back to Los Angeles to stop by home, change my clothes, do some laundry, see my wife for less than 24 hours, and then hop back on a plane to go to San Francisco on Friday for practice. And then I'll be in San Francisco Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I think is game 4. And then after that, go home to Los Angeles for about less than 24 hours. I might even have to fly to Houston that night. I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't gotten that far.
And at some point here, you have to get better from this flu. That needs to be the number one business here as well. What is going on?
Yeah, I mean, like, fortunately, when I got to Houston Friday night at midnight, I was already starting to feel bad. I just have been sleeping Friday. Saturday, we had a practice. I literally have only left my hotel to go to practice, shoot around, or the game. That's all I've done.
Well, we are so blessed to have you share some time with us on your busy schedule while you are also resting, trying to get back to 100%. We're going to play a game here to try and make things a little bit easier for you and everyone else out there, to make it also a little bit more interesting as we gotten through the first games of the first round of the playoffs. So we're going to play some fact or fiction here. I'm going to set it up here. We're going to give you a line. You got to tell me if that line is fact or fiction. And we're going to start it out with something that Draymond said, because Draymond said this.
We're trying to win basketball games, and in order for us to win basketball games, it requires Steph Curry to be great, and he was just that.
If the statement is the Warriors will only win this series if Curry dominates, is that fact or fiction?
I'm going to say fact, just based off of game 1, where everything looked like, as Steve Kerr said, it was like 1997. It was just a defensive battle, very physical, low scoring game. Jimmy was obviously on another level. I think he had like 25 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 steals. But they need Steph's scoring. They need his gravity. They need his ability to create chaos. And so when you're in these low scoring games against such a good defense like Houston, I find that it would be very difficult for them to survive if Steph has a game where he doesn't score 10 points. He's got to be able to score. He's got to be able to hit outside shots. And then they're going to need other guys like Moses Moody and Brandon Podjemski, guys like that, to hit shots. But yeah, I don't think they can survive a poor, quote unquote, poor game from Steph Curry.
Yeah, no matter what Jimmy Butler does, they do feed off of each other at this point. But both of those two in game number 1, they took over late in that one. Let's move on to our next one. Now, there was some jawing at each other at the tail end of game number 1. And I love seeing that when it comes to the playoffs. And there have been reports that Damian Lillard is going to come back, whether it's in game 2 or in game 3. But the question now is, Despite Dame coming back, the Bucks still lose this series. Is that fact or fiction?
I'm gonna say fiction. I think if Dame comes back and he's healthy, they have a chance to still win this series. The Bucks look great. I mean, the Pacers look great. Obviously, can hit you from many different angles. I mean, Halliburton, I don't even think hit a three in that game one, and they still won big. But when you have Giannis, who can still be at times the best player in the world and an unstoppable force, and now you give him some help with Dame Lillard, who obviously is a playoff proven performer, I do think the Bucks would still have a chance to pull out that series if Dame can come back and come back healthy.
Yeah, that's one series that I honestly looked at and said, this is one that can go the distance, especially if Dame comes back into this. Now, another big line that came out of the post-game press conferences was John Morant, after a 51-point loss, said, "We will never play this bad again."
We'll never, play that bad again.
If I say, even if they do play better, that this series is still a sweep, is that a fact or is that fiction?
I'm going to say fact. I just don't think Memphis has that many weapons to really challenge Oklahoma City's defense. I mean, yes, they got Jaren Jackson, John Moran, Desmond Bain, but that team has just not been in sync ever since the Taylor Jenkins firing to me. I know that they won toward the end to get to where they needed to be, but they just have not seemed like the same team that they were earlier in the season when they were like second in the West. There just seems to be something missing with the Grizzlies. So I would say the way Oklahoma City is rolling, I don't expect that to be slowed down anytime soon.
Okay, we got one more before we close this out.
I don't know if anybody's going to mention this, but I'm going to mention this. Where was LeBron James tonight? He was very, very lethargic. J.J. Redick went on camera and said, quote, "We don't have any energy. It's like guys don't even recognize that it's the playoffs. What the hell is going on up in here?" He was scratching his head, looking like he had dandruff, for crying out loud, because he couldn't figure it out. Luka showed up offensively. He was a liability defensively, and LeBron James was a liability, period. And nobody on Minnesota was, and that's why they won this game.
I guess the statement here is, if the Lakers can't match that intensity from Minnesota, that the Timberwolves are going to walk away with this series. Is that fact or fiction?
Fact. The Lakers, as good as they played during the regular season, they need their stars to be superstars in the playoffs. That means LeBron James and Luka Doncic have to be playing at the highest level. And second, really, they need their defense to be now, I'm not talking about Luka and LeBron. I'm talking about overall, the Lakers defense has to be exceptional because they don't have that rim protector that they had with Anthony Davis. And yes, at times during the regular season, the Lakers played great defense. But if they are not at their top level, if they are not supercharged, if they are not engaged, Minnesota is going to come away with this series. Minnesota with Anthony Edwards is already a problem. And you know that he's going to be up for every game. But if Jaden McDaniels is going to dominate his matchup in this series like he did in game one, the Lakers are not going to make it to the second round. So I don't know if they went into this series thinking like, hey, we got this game one, or they were feeling comfortable. But right about now, they should be feeling very uncomfortable. They should be feeling that they are playing to keep this series alive, because if they fall behind 0-2 and have to go to Minnesota with that deficit, it's not going to be pretty.
Well, one fact that we know for certain is that this show is always better when Youngmisuk joins us here on it. Thank you so much for your time. We hope that you feel a whole lot better, and we can't wait to see all the stuff that you come up with while you're on the road.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
We got one more topic to get to here on Nothing But Net Philippines before we close things out. And it's, I guess, a hopeful one, where there were reports coming out that Kevin Quiambao is trying to make his way onto the New York Knicks Summer League team. And I also read that he understands that despite the chances being very slim, it's still better than none. And I appreciate that. I appreciate his willingness to go out there and try and put himself on the line and hopefully make an NBA roster through the Summer League route. Now, KQ is the latest name in the recent rise of a lot of potential players making it through the grassroots program and onto an NBA team. Of course, most recently, Kai Soto going through the NBL route, or even trying to make it through maybe a U.S. college. Of course, before that with 30 and Kiefer Ravena, and then Kobe Paras trying to do the college route as well, but him as a freshman, and Ray Parks as well. But it got me thinking, like, was that the golden era of Pinoy prospects? Because when you look at the landscape right now, I'm having a hard time finding the next great Pinoy hopeful to make the NBA. And the first name that comes to my mind is Kiefer Alas, of course, who I was blessed to see as a young player. He was teammates with my nephew in La Salle Zubel. So I saw him at such a young age balling out, like taking kids to school. And now he's turning heads. He was even in a little bit of a scuffle with Sabrina Ionescu when they were playing against each other in the exhibition game. So I love the fact that he was also compared to Luka Doncic by Byron Scott, of course, when they were playing in the NBTC. So I'm excited to see what the future may hold for Kiefer, but who else is there? I'm having a hard time thinking of who could be the next, because KQ maybe 4 or 5 years ago would have been perfect. He's a little bit older. He's a 3-level scorer from the outside to the inside. He can get there. And I'm not saying this as a Lasalista. I'm saying this as somebody that appreciates his basketball game. He has the court vision, but I just don't know if the NBA scouts are going to see him and see someone in his mid-20s to be a player that can maybe make an NBA roster. I wish that he made this move a little bit earlier because of just how freaking good that guy is at playing basketball. So I would love to see on who is the next person to hopefully make that leap. If you have any ideas of who it might be or how we can potentially get there, make sure you leave it in the comments. Follow us on Instagram at espn.ph or at ESPN Asia as well. That'll wrap things up for us here on Nothing But Net Philippines. Make sure to like and subscribe to all of our stuff on YouTube. My name is Aaron Atayde. We'll see you all again next time.